Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks, which is brought to you by Chase and Those Custom T-shirts and accessories, the Ice Shaker, and we are also sponsored by Make It Mac. Running a little bit late today, but we've got a lot on our docket today. Tonight, we're going to be talking some UFC Fight Night recap, as me and Ben were saying on the pre-show. Didn't go our way in many different fights. We'll break that down for you to start off our show. Then a little bit later, we'll talk about the Bruins. What is going on in Boston, in the Beantown, Ben? So many losses, just cannot hold on to a lead. We'll break that down a little bit. And then we'll transition to some Celtics takes. Jason Tatum, is he a legitimate MVP candidate in the NBA? Me and Ben will discuss that. And we will wrap up the show with our top. We tried to do our top, I think it's top 11. We'll sprinkle in some other guys, but we tried to do our top 11. It ended up turning into 11, but our top 11 NFL free agents in their best destinations in mine and Ben's viewpoint there. That will kind of be our main event for tonight. But without further ado, Ben, let's talk some UFC. Let's talk some Fight Night. I thought it was a pretty decent Fight Night, but it just didn't go the way me and you expected it.
Yeah, we think everyone was banking on Moreno. But hey, Rovell proved himself. I usually been against him. The champ, kind of Pitoja, took care of him a little better than Moreno. Moreno and Pitoja had a little closer fight. So I thought Moreno was going to win this one a little easier. But, I mean, Rovell showed out. He showed me that he's obviously the clear title contender. I think you can honestly take it from Pantoja. I can't wait to see that fight. That's going to be a great one. Pantoja kind of, I was talking to Jimmy about it. We kind of forgot about whoever the champ that was. He's kind of an under the radar guy, but beat both those guys pretty handily. Deserves to be the title holder. So I can't wait for that. Probably Rovell. And Jimmy gets to again Ortega, Josh, Brian Ortega, with a little upset of Yair Rodriguez. Yair just kind of went all out that first round. And then kind of much like Raul Rojas in this most recent fight, kind of just gave out in the last two rounds. So I mean, shout out to Ortega. I mean, just two guys. Shout out to the Americans, Josh. I mean, the Americans ruining the night in Mexico City, taking the co-main and main event. So shout out to those two for that. And it was kind of a bummer. Raul Rojas, as you just mentioned, falling a little ill, Josh. So that was kind of a damper to the night. Tough main event. But overall, great card. It was that kind of a crazy fight, Josh. I don't know if you saw that one. Crazy fight in the stands, not even from the fighters, from the just people in attendance. Dana White just watched it. I thought that was pretty cool from Dana. Pretty crazy of him to say some of that stuff just to let it watch happen. I don't know where the security was, but hey, it's UFC, Josh. It gets crazy. But overall, I think it was a good card. This week, yeah, I think you might want to take a week off. You know, if you're not a diehard UFC, it's Rosenstrike versus Gaiaviv. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, Gaiaviv, but it's a heavyweight. Gaiaviv is a top heavyweight prospect, Josh. It's a setup fight. It's really not that good of a card. We got a couple undefeated guys that Umar Nurmagomedov's on the card, I believe. There's another good one, but we're really just hyping up the next one, Josh. We're really waiting for that Sugar Sean one in a couple of weeks, but shout out to the Americans in this one. Moreno disappointed us, Josh. Just not happy with Moreno. I think he's done.
Oh, 100%. It's just, I actually ended up falling asleep during that fight. I caught some of the highlights at the end. I mean, pretty much you summed it up perfectly. It seemed like everything just didn't go our way from Rojas not even competing. I mean, a late scratch. He was literally warming up, and then all of a sudden he doesn't end up competing. So you have that. Then you've got Yair Rodriguez. I mean, me and you were talking about one of the best jabs. I mean, even like you mentioned, that first round just dominating Ortega. And then all of a sudden Ortega comes back, puts him in a submission, he taps out. There goes that one. So and now it's looking like Ortega calling his shots for Pantoja. That'll be an interesting little rematch. As you mentioned, a lot of the UFC diehards are saying they don't want that fight. We know how that's going to end. Not a good little matchup there for Ortega. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens in that division as well. But aside from that, Moreno, he came out with all this swagger and just didn't work out the way I thought. The Rojas one really kind of just
Yeah.
that one kind
I
of
just wanted
killed
to see
me,
the
killed my
fight.
little parlay. And yeah, same man. I mean, I kind of was waiting for him. This was kind of the fight you and a lot of the diehard UFC guys were saying. This was his kind of get back fight, and he had an illness and screwed over a lot of parlays and screwed over himself kind of in the long run. He had all that traction and then he lost his last fight. So a lot to come out of this fight night. A lot moving forward, as you mentioned, 299. That's kind of been the one that I'm circled. I've sharpied, I've highlighted, whatever you want to talk about. Bulletin board, all that and beyond. That is what, March 9th? That is coming up. I mean, in less than
Yep,
2 or
March
3
9th, yeah.
weeks. So that'll be a big fight. Got plenty of fights, huge names on that one, followed by 300 in a few months as well. So a lot of good stuff coming out for the UFC, Ben, but I would have liked to see a couple other guys win, including Moreno and Yair. I mean, the one time I'm rooting for him, he lets me down.
Yeah, it was an interesting card, Josh. Interesting. We saw Manuel Torres, nice little start. It's just some guys just sort of just newcomers. This was a newcomers one. I'm looking at this fight night next one. It's a little better than I thought. There's a couple undefeated guys, as I mentioned. Umar Nurmagomedov, just another Russian undefeated wrestler who'll be fighting, and the other one, Mohammed Makachev, another great, I think he's an English undefeated guy, Victor Petranos, the co-main event, nice light heavyweight Brazilian who's undefeated. I think he's going to be another great thing. So, next fight night's another sort of setup one, I believe. Showcase some of these younger guys, get some of their names out there, but as you mentioned, let's just circle that 299. Yeah, I know you mentioned as well 300, but let's I think we both agree on this one. I think 299 is a little better than 300. I'm going to take 299 all day. So I'm excited for that. Mexico City put on a great show, but it's just Swish Moreno won it in his home. I don't know. He just he lost the fight in his home. He had the crowd behind him and everything. And he just couldn't deliver for us. It was strange too. I don't know why one judge gave him a 49-46, the other two 48-47. As we've seen, UFC judging is a little strange. I don't really get it. Me and Josh are obviously not UFC fighters. We're not ex-UFC fighters, so I don't really get it. We kind of just judge it by the books and whatever Rogan says, or DC. Shout out to Rogan at DC. Love listen to those guys. Best commentary, and John Anik. Can't forget about John Anik. But yeah, I was just kind of confused by some of the judging system that I saw in some of these cards. So, but that's just what happens with UFC. Sometimes just judges just judge it differently than other people. It adds to the suspense, Josh. So I'm just excited for 299. Watching over some of these undefeated fighters on this next fight night.
Percent good little fight night. Not as much star power for
Yeah.
the guys, the new beginners, the people trying to break into UFC like myself. But aside from that, let's talk about more of something that I really wish we shouldn't be talking about, but we are, and that is the Bruins. I mean, they have lost, what is it now, Ben? Their last 3 games. And they just can't seem to hold a lead, Ben. I don't know what's going on. It seems, dating back to that Vancouver game, we're up 2-0. I know everybody talks about, two goal leads is the worst type of lead you want to have in a hockey game, but they lose that one. Then last night, and I wasn't able to stay up too late, but I wake up, I see another loss in overtime. Ben, we're still tied for first in the whole league. We're up 1 point to the New York Rangers in the Eastern Conference, but it's kind of concerning, Ben, when you're seeing 14 overtime losses. We have more overtime losses than we have losses in general, which is great. We'll take the points. As me and you have mentioned, we want to have home ice. That's all important, yada, yada, yada. But aside from that, they need to figure out to address this huge issue, whether it's in the locker room, whether it's on the ice, because clearly it is on the ice. And that is closing out games. They have to close out games, Ben. They're now on a 3-game losing skid, and it's only going to get tougher from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, perfectly said too, Josh, right there. It's just going to get tougher as, season progresses once we get closer to crunch time, playoff time. Everyone knows playoff hockey gets a little elevated. But I was happy with the obviously the Edmonton game. As you mentioned in the beginning, all this what a thriller. 6-5. I mean, that was just it's a crazy game to watch. Oilers just always put on a show. Just offensive firepower was on showcase, and we got the win. That was great, and it was. I thought we were all fine. I thought we were all set. I thought the Bruins were going to go on a nice little run, and the Flames lost. Hey, we battled back. I like to see him battle back, but just take him to OT, get a point out of it. But these two ones, I mean, it's just you're giving up these goals, and as Nick DeVos said last week, the shots on goal needs to get a little better. It needs to get improved a lot, and it's just this third period, we're just collapsing in the third period. We just don't know how to close these games out. I don't know how we lost that Vancouver one. I know Josh said he went to bed this past one. I kind of just went to bed that Bruins one. I don't know. I thought we had that wrapped up, and next thing you know, people are losing parlays, and the Canucks are walking away with not me, by the way. Listen, me, I didn't take that one that time, but I mean, the Bruins just choked away another lead, and like as you mentioned, just this crack of one. It's a little encouraging to see it to go to OT. Just show some fight, but on the same token, we can't be putting ourselves in the same situation. Expect to have any better results than last year. The team was obviously much better, poised, or it seemed like it was much better than this year's team. But I mean, the way we're playing right now, I don't see us winning a 7-game series just with inconsistency. We just, if we're going to be playing some of these other teams, I know the Lightning don't have the same veteran leadership. But the Panthers scare me. The Panthers scare me. The Rangers, I mean, with the high goaltending, just can turn it on the postseason like that. They scare me. So I mean, the Hurricanes. I know, they kind of turn on at home, and very solid goaltending as well. But this is another team that just go down the line. It's just kind of concerning, Josh. For a young team like us, I love what we're doing, exceeding expectations, but we just gotta get this lead, Josh. We gotta take this lead. I don't know how much more I can say it. It's just plain simple for this team. Can't choke these games away.
Percent. And I mean that I literally was watching the Vancouver game. I'm sitting in this room, I'm watching it, and I'm literally you mentioned it perfectly. Nick DeVosta coming in, he said it. He said every game we're just being outshot, and we're clearly seeing that. I don't know what's going on, but as you mentioned too, the Florida Panthers, that's a team that's creeping up the standings, and it's crazy how things can change, Ben. I mean, a month ago we're talking about Bruins, they gotta cool it down. Like, we're winning too many games. How's this gonna finish out? Are they gonna run out of steam? Now, on the opposite side is we need them to gain some traction. We need them to gain some steam. And of course, I will say I would like them to kind of go through some rough patches now, as opposed to the playoffs like last year when it kind of all came crumbling down. And that series won, the first series against the Florida Panthers, 3-1, blown lead. But I digress from that. It's very concerning, and I think what they need to do, Ben, is find a way to get out of overtime. I know we love the points. I know we like that, but find a way to, 1, get out of overtime, and 2, hold on to a lead. I mean, I know a lot of people in terms of Boston media are kind of slamming the goalies right now. It's always the goalie's fault. It's Olmark. It's Swayman. They've been playing sloppy, and the All-Star break. We mentioned that the first week that we came back after they had that long All-Star break. But aside from that, Ben, they have to really grab the bull by the horns here. Keep pace. I know we're talking about we don't want them to have the President's Trophy there, but they need to keep pace, get a good seed. Home ice is super important for this Bruins team. We know that they're different at home than they are on the road. And they need to, Ben, I cannot stress anymore, they need to hold on to overtime. They need to hold on in overtime, and they need to hold on to leads late in the game. I mean, it's very late in the game that it all comes crashing down.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, these overtime points are going to get you so far. It's great getting them now. Cool, it's good for the morale, and yada yada yada. But let's get these wins. Let's just get these wins in regulation, and even if we get into OT, let's just get these OT wins, because we're not even doing that right now. We're just sort of just giving these games away at the end. It's just not good for this young team's confidence going into possibly a lengthy postseason run that we're looking to get into. So let's just clean up that. he said, I think the goaltending issues will, I think they'll subdue. I think, they're going to get their heads back on straight. And I think the shots will get back on the net. It's going to give this team time. We just got to get out of this little funk. Because it's tough. I mean, they're just so young, Josh. It's tough to see. It'd be nice with some veteran leadership, but we saw last year that didn't really pan out either. So I'm lucky. I'm willing to give this a try. So let's just see what we can do. But yeah, we gotta clean it up. That's our big issue right now. The third period, gotta clean that up, and if we can clean that up, sky's the limit with this team, Josh. I think we can go as far as we can. Stanley Cup, maybe, but gotta get that third period issues solved first.
I mean, that's where it starts. It all starts with being able to kind of control your games and control your own destiny. On the flip side here, we're banging through. We're almost there to the NFL, but we're going to talk about the Boston Celtics, who are on the opposite side of the spectrum. They have won 8 straight. Everything's going great. I mean, there's only so much, and even me and Ben in phone conversations this week, there's only so much we can sit here and talk about how great that they are, because it's true, and I'm not taking anything away from them. They are clearly the best team in the league, in my opinion. I mean, we're talking East Coast, we're talking West Coast. That's my opinion. It's facts too. I think they're 6 or 7 games ahead of the Timberwolves, who are the number 1 seed, and the Thunder. They're playing. It's a rat race for that number 1 seed in the West Coast. But on the Eastern Conference side of things, Ben, they've been phenomenal. And their star player, Jason Tatum, he believes so as well. A lot of buzz, though. I mean, we've talked a lot about this team in general, Ben, but a lot of buzz recently in the Boston media, the Boston Twitter pages, the fan pages, are kind of clamoring behind Jason Tatum's recent comments, whereas he said, he feels pretty much that he's the best player in and out every night. I know there's been a lot of talk about, will Jason Tatum kind of take that next step as the face of the NBA, yada, yada. Aside from that, we're bringing it to you. This is an open discussion here before we flip out to our little main event of the night. Should we consider Jason Tatum as a legit NBA MVP?
Easily, Josh. Easily. I'm just going to jump in there. I mean, sort of this whole season, they've been kind of flowing that around, giving him some of those higher MVP odds. But as you laid it out there, is an MVP the best player on the best team? He's pretty single-handedly that. I mean, he's just been it. He's been it for us night in, night out. Just the best performer. Browns has ups and downs, Porzingis injury concerns. Role players, obviously, Derek White's been phenomenal, but he's had a couple bumps in the road. But Tatum's been there throughout this whole season for us. Getting to this, elite record, just as you laid out, the West is a little tighter of a race, but the East isn't really. The Cavs sitting back at like 7.5 games behind us, so we're kind of not in cruise control, but we're almost there. We're almost there. It's largely due because of Jason Tatum. So, I was just kind of, I don't know, people weren't giving him the odds, Josh. People were just saying it's still Joker's race. It's still, people, I didn't even really know. They were just throwing Joker out. They really were just putting him out there. Well, Embiid was a big one for a while. Embiid, obviously, the injury brought him down, but early favorites, again, were Joker, Embiid, Devin Booker thrown out there now with some of the Suns, some of the things they're doing with the Suns. But I think the clear-cut favorite, is really just to answer this question. It's got to be Jason Tatum. I mean, I don't really see how you give it to anyone else at this point with the Celtics dominance. As Marianne said, he's just got to prove it. It's getting to that point where, and even as you laid out too, Josh, I mean, you got to take that next step of being, the face of the NBA. I mean, he's got to prove it. He's got to start winning. He's just got to win a championship to solidify that. Because, I mean, this Celtics team, this goes for the Celtics team too. I mean, they've done it all. They've, come back in series, obviously reached Eastern Conference Finals, reached the finals. They've overcome some of the teams that, they've struggled against, beat LeBron. They beat LeBron. They beat him in another series. They didn't beat him in that one. But so that team has beat LeBron before, got over that hump, but just they're still missing the ring, and that's the only thing they're kind of missing from the catalog right now, Josh, and that's the only thing he's missing. So I think he's got to be the clear-cut NBA favorite right now because as I sort of laid out too, I don't really know who you give it to. Obviously, Joker's a contention, but I mean, Suns really aren't doing that. They're not in the first. They're not in first or in the West. They're still trying to claw their way back in there. I think SGA. I mean, that's a little too. I think he's a little too young. Same thing with Edwards. I mean, they're doing great things over there and getting those teams top seeds in the West, largely due to themselves. But I don't think you can give it to them at this point. I think it's Tatum's time. I think it's Tatum. I just really can't think of anyone else, Josh. So shout out to Tatum. Let's go. Give it to him finally.
Yeah, I think you and Marianne I personally I couldn't agree with this take anymore, and I'm actually glad Marianne brought it up, and you as well. I think the biggest thing coming out of this is to win an NBA championship. Like, we know, Tatum knows he's got many years. He's got probably an MVP or two in his future. No worries, no problems. But as you mentioned, as Marianne mentioned, it all comes down to us winning a championship. It's been since 2008. We want to hang that banner 18. We've been talking about banner 18 since me and you have been in high school. It's been a chase for that for a while. And Ben, we're coming up on 10 years since that. So aside from that, yeah, side little scary note. But aside from that, I couldn't agree with you guys anymore. We're not saying Ben's saying he is the clear-cut MVP. I think it's a little closer than that. I think in terms of, there's a lot to factor in. I think, points per game, assists, the averages. He's a little beaten out by guys like Luka and Shea. But to Ben's point, I think in terms of the NBA MVP and just, the best player, we can't give it to a guy on a 7 seed or a guy on an 8 seed, Shea Gilgeous. They're contending for the number 1 seed, so I won't take anything away from him. But I also think we have to factor in Jason Tatum's the usage of him. He has some more All-Stars around him. It's a different team. I know I'm kind of reaching here. I sound like a homer, but at the end of the day, it's to Ben's point. They're the number 1 seed in the entire NBA. He's just transcended himself each and every season. And if you look at his stats this season, yeah, he's not averaging 34 a game like Luka Doncic, but he's been more healthy. He's played pretty much every single game. He's averaging almost 10 rebounds a game. That's pretty insane. And he's averaging almost 5 assists as a 4. He's arguably the 4. I think they literally start him as the power forward. So I think 100% he's a legitimate candidate. He's shown it. I think to a lot of Celtics fans' points here in their perspective, I think he can be the face of the NBA. He's got that baby face, as we say in WWE terms. But aside from that, it all comes down to one thing, and that's winning an NBA championship. And right now, this Celtics team, Ben, I know we've been talking about all these threats and who threats them the most and yada, yada, yada. We've said the Bucks, people said the Heat. Me and you have kind of gone back and forth. Personally, I don't think, and I'm going to double down on this, I still think that the Bucks will be in the Eastern Conference Finals with the Celtics. But I'm going to be completely honest here, Ben, and this ties into Jason Tatum as a legitimate MVP candidate. I don't think that there is a legitimate threat in the Eastern Conference right now. I'm looking at the Celtics, and they are just levels above every other team, Ben. Tonight's game against the 76ers, as you mentioned, I know there's no Joel Embiid, but I'm not even worried. If they drop this game, okay, oh well. They're still 8 games above in the Eastern Conference. It's insane. They're going to clinch a playoff spot soon in similar in ways, but not similar in ways. NBA, NHL, yeah, teams turn it on. We've seen the Heat do that recently in the playoffs, but I doubt the Celtics get rounded in the first round. It's a little different than hockey, a little bit more predictable, and I think it's getting very predictable for the Celtics to be in the NBA Finals. And Ben, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think that there's anybody who can match up with us. I'm gonna even take it to another level here. I don't think the Celtics will see a Game 7 until maybe the NBA Finals. I am that convinced right now, especially with everybody healthy and Kristaps Porzingis killing it. I think that this Celtics team with legitimate MVP candidate and Jason Tatum will not lose they will not see a Game 7 until the NBA Finals, and then we'll have to talk about that. I am that convinced with how good the Celtics
I
are,
love,
and it
I
all
love
starts
it.
with their best player, Jason Tatum.
I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to totally agree. I'm not taking this hot take. That's Josh's hot take. I'm trying to remember it for that one, but I'm just glad you brought up the rebounds because I know it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to remember from all those great stuff Josh just threw out
It
there. But I
goes
mean,
in there.
I just thought it was crazy too. No, I mean, he really, I noticed that too while just looking at some of the stats, just watching the games. I mean, he does play at the four, Josh. We could obviously rotate in and out, just different lineups and everything. But it's a little small ball league now, so you can put Tatum at the four and it won't hurt as much. And he's just all over the boards. It's just crazy. He's just uh, his usage. That was the key word I just threw in there. I think that's why he's just the clear cut MVP of the usage. He's everywhere. He's grabbing boards for us. He's leading transition. He's getting the assists. He's scoring the points. Obviously, we've been accustomed to that, but now we're seeing everything else. We're kind of seeing the game kind of become fully formed now. He's just becoming a all around player. Uh, and like you mentioned in the beginning of this, I think it's just becoming on his way becoming the face of the league. I don't think anything can stop him now. Uh, that like I said, SGA. I mean, hey, obviously he's got a little better stats in there. I think, as I mentioned, a little too young, but he's got the Thunder at the number two seeds, number two or number three, I believe. So I give him a little of that, but yeah, I still gonna hold off on him. But Luca, Luca's a little more, I think, closer in the competition because I think if you get rid of Luca on the Mavs team, they're pretty bottom of the barrel, if not at the bottom of the barrel. So I got to give Luca a little more for that. He's kind of got them surging into that sort of sixth, fifth seed just by playing some unreal basketball. So I kind of give more of a, I don't want to say I forgot about Luca, but the Mavs are very exciting right now. That kind of Luca's bringing them back into it right now, and a couple nice trade deadline moves with Washington and Gafford. So they're making some
Jay Washington,
splashes.
I like that.
Yeah, Washington, he's all right. He's not bad. He's not bad. Uh, but I give him a little more closer, Josh, competition than Shy. But I'm still going Tatum. I mean, it's Tatum's. I think Tatum's a clear cut favorite. It goes Tatum, then Luca. Uh, but I think you just got to give it to Tatum in this one, just based off the record for the team, and just the Celtics are just the best team in the NBA. Josh, you can't deny it.
Couldn't agree with you anymore. Flipping sides here, we know, you New England Patriots fans know, they have to spend some money. And hey, that's what we're going to talk about for the next 20 minutes here. 23 minutes. We'll try and get as much in as we can. We are going to break down what we view as some of the top free agents in their best fits. A couple of these guys might be franchise tagged, so bear with us. I mean, one of the guys we have a hard time pronouncing, Justin Matabuke. He might be there. I think they came out today and said if they can't figure something out before like an extension, he's most likely going to be franchise tagged. So just want to throw that one out there. But for a little bit of food for thought. But let's just kick things off right away. Let's not keep these NFL fans waiting. We're going to start off with the first one. First NFL free agent, their potential landing spot. And that's going to go to Daniil Hunter. My pick here, I've got him as... I think these are two teams here that could really use an end. I don't see him going back to the Minnesota Vikings. I think that they have their hands full in a lot of different positions right now to kind of figure out. They're trying to move up in the draft. They've got a lot to kind of worry about. Daniil Hunter getting older in age. I think he wants to go somewhere and contend. And why not? I think both of these two teams here, Lions and Bengals, similar situations. You've got Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals on one side. Why not pair him up with Daniil Hunter, who was a top 10 sack leader last year? On the flip side here, the Lions, they're contending. They're trying to get better. They're trying to get more veterans on that team. Why not pair up their young pair in Aiden Hutchinson with Daniil Hunter? You got to remember too, a lot of their defense and a lot of their guys, I think they're top 10. I know they're top 10. They might even be top 5 in team salary. Or no, they're top 7 in terms of cap space there. They're top 10. Pair up Daniil Hunter and Aiden Hutchinson, get a little bit more pressure on the quarterbacks. I think that could be a good fit for him.
See, I already just don't like Josh's based off the Bengals one. I don't really like that Bengals one, but obviously from his perspective and everyone else's perspective, not a Steelers fan. I mean, pairing him up with Trey Hendrickson That's just a scary combo over there. I love the Lions. One Lions always need some more defensive help. Obviously, that sort of 49ers game proved that one. Don't want to throw any more salt on the wound for that 49ers game. But my fits, I'm going to go Rams. I think the Rams, the number one for me. They're looking to add something on the edge. You know, they haven't had an edge rusher in a while. Still got Aaron Donald in his prime time years. And that division's just got, Nick Bosa, Chase Young. Cardinals are young. They're trying to get some people over there. Seattle's drafted well over the years, so they got to be able to keep it up with them. So I really like that one. If they want to stay competitive, they still got a great team offensively on that side of the ball. So I think Danielle Hunter and Aaron Donald will be a force. And they just threw the Vikings in there, Josh. I think that really is his best fit. I mean, they really just sort of had that defense geared around him. Obviously, it's a little more harder to just be just saying it. You got to pay Kirk Cousins, so this probably wouldn't get off. They probably have to work out some deal, but I think overall, I think the best fit would just be coming back to Minnesota and lean that defense again. But ultimately, I think I lean on the first option right there. I think he would really do well in the Ram system, and possibly even bring them to the next level. Because LA wants to they got a great offense. They want to stay competitive and keep up with San Fran, and even Seattle was emerging a little. So I got those two.
I mean, I don't hate it. They make it a little bit easier to keep some guys
Mm.
in terms of in the NBA. I mean, I know that's in the NBA. NFL might be the same too in terms of matching contracts and stuff, etc. So we're gonna go with the next one here. These are my two top fits. I know you Patriots fans are excited about this. This is Baker Mayfield. I'll go quickly. Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, it makes sense. They're trying to contend in that division. Why not bring them back? Roll the dice back again. See what you're gonna land on the dice. Maybe you'll land a 6. Maybe you'll go all the way. I mean, they won a playoff game with him last year. That explains that. Why not bring him back? Try to convince him and Mike Evans to stay. On the flip side, Patriots. They've got a lot of cap space. They are the second most team in spending, or fourth most team, excuse me, and that could even change. It's very close. I'm going off Spot Track here, which might not have everything to date, but they've got the top 5 in spending. What position do they need to attack? Quarterback. Why not go out, give him a little bit of money up front, build your team. Still, you can draft a guy in a couple later rounds. Do like the Jimmy Garoppolo thing with Tom Brady. Drafted him in a little bit later. You can develop him, or even next year or something. But they've got a lot of money to spend, Ben, and a lot of those wide receivers are going off the market. Why not go out? Why not start with Baker Mayfield? You go get Marvin Harrison for that number 3 pick. Now you got your quarterback and you got your wide receiver to build on. And if you go in, you do that. You go get Baker Mayfield. Now it gets easier for the draft positioning as well. You can draft some more guys, beef up that offensive line, whatever you want to do. I think it's a good fit for Baker Mayfield there. And yeah, I mean, it could be a total rebuild there in New England. And people like Dylan, I'd love to have them hear their thoughts because they did a lot of trash talking on Baker, but those are my 2 fits there for him.
Yeah, 2 solid fits over there, Josh. Gonna have to agree with one. That's my number one for them, and I know they'll love it. Patriots. I got one of the Patriots' best fit. I proved what you can do over in Tampa this year. I proved you can be a nice, serviceable quarterback. Bring it to the playoffs. Obviously the Bucks have a little more weapons than the Patriots right now, so I don't think he would have as much success with the Patriots as he did with the Bucks. But we got to give him some credit for that. I think he'd be a perfect bridge guy. Patriots, whether you use this to get a Harrison or get the quarterback to have Baker sort of just be the bridge quarterback for him. Either way, I think it's just good little fit for him over here. Because I know the Patriots never want to go into full rebuild. They want to always sort of be in contention. I don't think throwing whatever rookie quarterback they get to the Wolves is a good idea. So I go Patriots first. Nice bridge guy over there. Number 2, I was teetering between the Bucks, but I think this would be a cool one. I mean, the Raiders. They got some weapons over there. Who knows what they're doing with Aiden O'Connell? Obviously moved on from Derek Carr pretty fast. They're kind of just in no man's land, paying Derek Carr all that money. Aiden O'Connell, like I said, he's a good guy. Better quarterback than me, but I think that's just, I mean, like I said, they still got some weapons over there. Still got Adams. Still got, Renfro is still hanging around over there. He's still doing his thing. Jacoby Myers obviously emerged as the number two. Michael Mayer did his thing at the end. So I think, Raiders be an interesting spot for him to go to. The number two for me.
That one. I mean, hey, they've got a lot of money to spend, Ben, and they do need a quarterback. That's one. That's one that I was kind of teetering with. I mean, they've got a lot of money to spend. And here we go. I mean, I literally just did one for him. Justin Matabuke. I mean, this was before the whole franchise tag thing. I cannot see the Ravens, like, they've got to tag him. They've got to figure something out. Even if they tag him, re-sign him during the season once the season starts. I mean, just talk about under the radar guy. I think this is a no-brainer for them. This is really the best fit, I think, for him to go back there, run it back turbo, and just stay in Baltimore. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I got the obviously we did this before the news, but
Fair.
I mean Ravens. I mean me and Josh were on the same wavelength. And getting everybody, and swear the Ravens were on that same wavelength too. We can't get rid of this guy. He's just too good. So I had the best fits for the Ravens. Number one, obviously, bring him back. You don't want to lose this guy. I mean, key part of this defense that was just tremendous last season. I had the Cardinals next. They're kind of one of my teams. I believe the top five in cap space. They're just trying to rebuild that defense. Got Zayvon Collins over there. Got a couple of nice young guys. But I think Justin Matabuke. So to get that right, you got it right at there.
Little tongue twisted.
But yeah, exactly. But guys like that, Chris Jones, be a top team for the Cardinals. Are willing to spend some money on a guy that kind of be the leader of that young defense. So ultimately, yeah, probably going to the Ravens, but Cardinals. Hey, you never know. That'd be a nice little sneaky number two team, Josh.
Sure. I mean, that's another team that I'm kind of baffled because they have so much money. Or they've got a decent amount of money. They've got over 51 million in cap space. Who knows what they're going to do with it? But I don't know. I mean, that's a team that they just said Kyler's their guy. They're going to stand by him. So we'll see. Now this is an interesting one. 3 teams here that I think are the best fits. I'll go with the middle one first. That's the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, they want to run it back with him. They rant and rave about him. I think that they view him, a lot of people internally view him as their franchise guy. So why not run it back with him? Give it another chance. The Atlanta Falcons, this is a team that's making a lot of noise. They went out, they got their guy. They believe in their head coach, their young guy, Raheem Morris over there. They've got a bunch of little pieces to build around. I know they released Jonnu Smith, but guess what? They still got Kyle Pitts. They've still got Bijan Robinson. They still got Drake London. They still got a couple decent little draft picks to come up this season as well. Tough little defense over there. AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, so on. Going out, getting Kirk Cousins, because it's clearly not Desmond Ridder. Could transcend this team into the next direction, in that direction where they want to go. I mean, just looking at their cap space, again, this is all off Spot Track, so don't kill the messenger here. But they sit middle of the pack. They've got 40 million in cap. I think Kirk Cousins, they can find a way to bring him there. Excuse me. And then quickly we'll go here. I'll run it out of time. Pittsburgh Steelers, they need to make something happen. I don't know how it would work for cap. Maybe they make some trades. They release some guys. They've got right around $10 million in cap space. Who knows, Ben? They've got some old guys on that team. They're pretty... The average age for the Pittsburgh Steelers is 26.33. I mean, they're a pretty old team in terms of the rest of the league. So I know it doesn't sound old, but it's decent. It's decently old. They've got to make some decisions here. It's a quarterback carousel. Who knows what they feel with Kenny Pickett? So I don't know. Just want to throw him on there and make things interesting.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins. This is an interesting one. It's an interesting one, Josh. I'm going to go safe, simple one. I just have to go Vikings. Go back to the Vikings. Let's get some money cleared up for them. I know it kind of was a little tough with that Danielle Hunter situation I brought up earlier, but come on, you're NFL GMs. You can figure it out. You get paid a lot of money. Figure out how to keep both those guys. I think it's just his best fit. Josh mentioned in the beginning the rant and rave about him. I would love, I would love to have him over here. I think we got the weapons to suffice him and the run game to help him out. Just give us even more of a reason to draft offensive line support. But I digress. I think ultimately Vikings is the best spot in. The one, me and Josh. Same wavelength on that one. I think the Falcons, keep this one short and sweet. As you mentioned, Desmond Ridder is not the option. So I think Kirk Cousins really thrive in that offense too. But great options, as you said. And Bijan, I think, would really give him a nice little youth injection for Kirk Cousins. So uh, keep it simple for those two. But hey, if he wants to come to Pittsburgh too, I'd allow it.
Yeah, I mean the Falcons, man. They've got the pieces there. They've got the pieces
Yeah,
to make it happen. Running
want
back
to.
here, a lot of noise coming out of Saquon Barkley. I mean, just
Here we go.
flashy player. Just got to stay healthy, and he's done that this past 2 seasons. My top fits here. I'll go quick. Texans, they need a running back, Ben. I know they have Damian Pierce, but maybe you throw him in a system where you can kind of get that 1-2 punch. Not a lot of people loving it. I see Ben shaking his head a little bit.
Yes,
I
he
think
doesn't like.
I think it's an interesting one. This is a team, CJ Stroud. They're a young team. They need a little bit more star power. Why not pair him up with Damian Pierce? Take a little bit of the pressure off him. He doesn't have to be the guy. And then, of course, I have him with the Giants. The running back market is tough, Ben. I think they realize, they kind of went all in on him. I know Ben looks a little surprised. I think they realized they kind of went all in with him. I know there's going to be a lot of teams throwing him options, and this is going to be an interesting NFL free agency, especially because he's still got franchise tags. But I think he could stay here. I think they do view him as a franchise player, and to be quite honest, I think they just paid Daniel Jones too much money, and they might have paid the wrong guy. So I think in a weird world here, played a little bit safe. I know Dylan, when I get to his comment, was saying Baker Mayfield stays in Tampa. I could see Saquon Barkley staying in New York.
Way to get back to that comment, Josh. No, yeah, no, I was just saying, no, the Texans is a great one, but I was a little down. I'm a little more down on David Pierce. Listen, I think the Texans is going to bring in a running back that's kind of overshadow him, but he's going to be great. Just got to relieve some of those carries for him. I went a little crazy with Saquon. I was kind of agreeing with you on that one. Texans. I mean, the Texans are going to be in this market, and yeah, I put these two teams in there because these are the two top teams I think in the running back market. So these two are the teams to watch out for. With any of the running back free agents, Eckler, Henry, obviously Barkley. Since Tony Pollard is going to be a free agent, I think the Cowboys, when it comes to the rival, I think obviously number one is Texas, get the most money. I mean, it's such an explosive offense. I can't even imagine Saquon Barkley in that offense. That'd be amazing. And the Texans, I mean, hey, if you didn't obviously didn't want to shell out for Pollard. Let Zeke go. You need a running back in that offense. I think that'd be great. I know I just mentioned for the Texans, but I mean that explosive. I mean, he would just add so much more explosiveness to that offense. Him and CD in the same offense pairing would be crazy. And I was shaking my head. I mean, that was just a good point from you too. I mean, I think he could come back to the Giants ultimately too. Sort of along the same side of with Josh Jacobs. I think the Giants. Kind of just dig in their heels and sort of bite the bullet and say, like you said, hey, we paid Daniel Jones too much. Let's overpay to keep Saquon, who's actually good. So I like that one too. I didn't throw him in there, but I could see them obviously going back to the Giants. But Texans, Cowboys, be interesting.
I think there's a big chance he could leave. I'll go fast. The King Henry, as you said, Cowboys are in the market for a running back. Why not bring one of my favorite running backs of all time? I think it could be a little bit more affordable than Saquon Barkley. I'd be cool with both. I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe they bring back Pollard. I don't know what they're going to do. Aside from that, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, we know that they need another running back. They will wear down Isaiah Pacheco. I know he was a late round pick, but why not bring King Henry there? I think he wants to go to a contender. Chiefs somehow could make it work. You never know. A lot of guys maybe would go there for cheap, kind of the Patriot way. I think it makes sense, and I think we could see him with one of those teams. I put the Cowboys as the number one just because a lot of rumors swirling around him going to Dallas. That was kind of a thing, even dating back to the NFL trade deadline.
Derrick Henry, another one, just easy for me. I'm going to go Cowboys. Keep them in there. Keep that market. It's a little more realistic one than the Saquon, I believe. I think Cowboys actually could really bring in Derrick Henry, just at that bruising backside offense. And another running back, another team in the running back market. I know it's kind of weird saying it. They got a bunch, but I mean the Ravens. I'd be kind of crazy to see him in that offense. I think the Ravens are a little intrigued at that. Obviously, the postseason woes continue to plague them. Lamar needs something else over there. Gus Edwards is great. Everything Gus Bus and some of these other guys. J.K. Dobbins, it's been great, but he needs to be on the field. I think Derrick Henry would be a great addition to them. I saw veteran leadership to some of those guys, kind of be the big-headed monster in that three-headed backfield. Uh, I'll go Cowboys and Ravens. Watch out Texans too. Throw the Texans in there too,
Yeah.
Josh.
Got a lot of money. Got a lot of money, Ben. I'll go quick. Mike Evans, I put one team. I think he could
Uh-oh.
go back to the Bucks. I think I'm gonna quick spoiler alert. I think this team, Jose and Jeff, I think you're gonna be seeing one of your wide receivers leave, and that's why I think you could be seeing one of them come. Colts have a decent amount of money, a lot of money actually to spend. Why not bring in a guy? They've got a young team. They just got Jonathan Taylor back. They've got a young quarterback. They need weapons, Ben. This has been the thing Colts fans have been clamoring about for the past 3 seasons. They need more than just Josh Downs and Michael Pittman. They could even get Mike Evans and bring back Mike Pittman. That's how much money they have. Why not go after Mike Evans? I think it would be a decent fit. I know a lot of people saying the Panthers. I don't think he wants to go there. Why not go to the opposite side of the conference, try to contend with a young quarterback and a young running back alongside?
Yeah, no, I like that one. I think it would be this one's tough. This one's tough for me, Mike Evans. I'd love to see him back in Tampa. Obviously, he's just a great guy, great guy. You just want to see him with that one team the whole time. But if I'm gonna be honest, this one's tough to say too. But I see him going to the Chiefs, Josh. The Chiefs finally just digging their heels in, as I just said about that. So the Ravens just go get that number one. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey, Mike Evans. That'd be just a crazy just team that just won the Super Bowl. They're looking at, obviously got to pay Mahomes. If Chris Jones leaves, still got some money laying around, obviously maybe throw it to him or the number two one, keep it short and sweet, the Bears. The Bears need everything. I mean, if they're either going to keep Justin Fields or get Caleb Williams, I got to give them some weapons around there. I think pairing up DJ Moore on one side and Mike Evans on the other is going to be a really good one.
Agree with you anymore there, Ben. Those are teams that they need to take the
I need the
next
wide
step.
receivers.
Same thing. That's why I said for the Colts for him. And I'll make it quick here. Josh Jacobs. And this is kind of what we were talking about. I was looking at that Chicago Bears. This transition was perfect. So looking at the Chicago Bears team, I mean, they've got Khalil Herbert. They need more. They need more of a running back presence or a running game presence back there. Why not go get Josh Jacobs? Running back market's going to be interesting. I don't know if they're going to sign him. I don't think that they're going to franchise tag him again. I think the Raiders are going to let him walk, so why not bring him there? And same reason for Saquon Barkley, same reason for Josh Jacobs. Why not go down to Houston, the Big H, try to bring that team to something. Josh Jacobs has been better as of late. Up and down running back, but that's fine. Pair him up with Dameon Pierce. I know you're kind of down on him, but if you can get another little dual running back there, which seems like the league kind of likes to transcend to pair him up with Dameon Pierce, I think Josh Jacobs as the bruiser could be a decent one. And Devin Singletary's been unbelievable as well. And I say unbelievable because Buffalo Bills fans are kind of shaking their head like, where was this Devin Singletary before? Pair him up with that three-headed monster, as you mentioned. Decent little fit there for Josh Jacobs.
She had the same ones. I had the Raiders and Texans too. Like I said, Texans going to be in the running back market for everybody. But I think ultimately just going back to the Raiders, I think that's his team. I think that's his team. I don't really see him just going anywhere else. I think they're going to offer the money finally, much like the Giants. I know I said it's fun to speculate about them going other places, but I think ultimately he just stays with the Raiders and Texans. Just got to keep telling Texans. They got so much money. They could be getting anybody. So I'd like to. The Texans need another running back to take the next step, Josh. Too. That offense looked just so much better. No offense, David Pierce. So yeah, keeps throwing that in there for him.
It's funny. We're both. Yeah, so here we go. Michael Pittman here. I mean, I was talking about that. I think the Colts make some sense. Bring him back. They still have a lot of money. This guy's been great for them. B-plus guy. Not the number one, but he's borderline there. I think he could be a phenomenal number two on that team. He knows the system. Why not bring him back? And then to your side, why not bring him over to the Bears? I think DJ Moore alongside Michael Pittman could be a great fit for whether it's Justin Fields, which it seems like they're going to be moving on from him. Probably Caleb Williams. Nice two little tools there, two weapons to start off his season, to start off his career, I should say. And I think Michael Pittman might want a little change of face. So Colts, I think, number one option, even though I have him in the second spot. But I think the Bears is another team that could make a play for him as well.
And I had the same ones. I had the same ones on that one too. Me and Josh in agreement. I mean, Colts ultimately, I think it comes back to You can't lose a weapon like that with a rookie quarterback and Richardson dealing already with some injury problems. You need to go to a reliable wide receiver, but much like the thinking with Mike Evans, just pair him up against DJ Brown. You got an explosive guy, go give him a tall wide receiver. Williams or Fields can go throw the ball too, go make some explosive plays for him. You got the tight ends, obviously, Cole Kmet. You got another guy too. They draft like five of them. But I think ultimately, yeah, they got like five of them. Josh, they got so many. Throw it to anybody, but ultimately, Colts or Bears. I see him sticking around. It's probably gonna be the Colts. They can't lose it.
Percent there. Ben, this is your fit here for Josh Allen, the linebacker. We're talking.
Ooh, Josh Allen, not the quarterback. I know Jared would be very scared at this one. I got the Vikings. I mean, the number one right there. Obviously, this is just anticipation. If they lose Danielle Hunter, the clear cut replacement. If you're gonna go get rid of him, bring him over there. Then I got the Rams. Like I said, much with Danielle Hunter. I mean, they're looking for an edge. Got to go pair up alongside with Aaron Donald. He's still got some great years of Aaron Donald left, and you want to contend with those 49ers in emergency Seahawks. So I think the Rams would be another solid spot for him. I really like that one actually over the Danielle Hunter. I think the Rams would take the next step with Josh Allen. With Josh Allen actually contend with the 49ers.
100%. I mean, one of the league's best pass rushers, kind of goes under the radar. He gave Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen, some fits the last time they played, and has given many teams as well. Interesting one here for me. I might not have put mine up there, but I had the Patriots as one. I forget who I had. I think I had the Patriots. I think that I know James and all these guys, they ranted and raved about these linebackers, Jawan Bentley's, all those guys. Those guys aren't cutting it. They need better linebackers. They need guys who can play with speed wide receivers. They don't really have that. I think their defense has been decent, and I know I'm going to get a little hate for it, but I think the Patriots would be a good fit for him. And I kind of said the Jags, too. I feel like the Jags, they still have Trevor Lawrence, still want to build around him. That's a decent little team/fit there for me. I know we're running real short on time. This is the last one, I believe. This is Ben's fits for Chris Jones.
Yeah, ultimately, gotta go back to the Chiefs. Chiefs Kingdom. I know the money's probably not going to allow it, but I think just best fit. Just go back there, be a leader for them. That's you've been the anchor for them winning those three championships. Arguably the most important player, not named Patrick Mahomes on that Chiefs team. So I'd say number one Chiefs, and number two. I mean, this would probably take them to the next level, like you mentioned that. But I mean, the Lions got Chris Jones. The 49ers come back probably doesn't happen. I think that should be a great, Aiden Hutchinson, him. You got a couple of those stud linebackers, nice secondary. Dan Campbell, coach team. That would just be it'd be a little too much for the NFC North to handle. I think put them ahead. And Lions is one of the clear-cut favorites in the NFC. So I got Chiefs, Lions. Might as well stick with the Chiefs. Josh, come on, why would you leave?
Exactly what I said. I mean, I think that this is a guy who, they don't have the most salary cap. Of course, with the Patrick Mahomes thing, they've still got to pay some guys. They're getting older, but why not? I mean, this guy made a huge play in many of the Super Bowls that they've been in. He just made a great play in this last one. I think he had a somewhat of a game-clinching sack late in the game. I mean, he was just unbelievable for them. He's been, as you mentioned, their anchor. Why not? I think he's going to stay. I mean, I think he was kind of the first person that really caught my attention to staying on his team. I think that's what's going to happen. And, I mean, the Lions would be a great fit for him. I forget who else I said. I think it might have been the Rams for some reason. Let him cash in. Let him go over there. Pair him up alongside Aaron Donald. Nice little weird fit there. It was the Raiders. Excuse me. It was the Raiders. They need some help over there. Pair him alongside Max Crosby. That's who I said. Maybe he goes there. It stays in the division, gets a little bit of a payday. He's won his rings. He'll be cool with that. And I believe that is it. That wraps up our free agent spendings, our trackers there for a lot of the free agents, the top guys in the NFL. Moving forward, just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Another great show here. Thank you for everybody dealing with us. We were a little bit late today, but of course, as always, we were able to kind of deliver for you guys. I just want to say a couple quick things here. Cowboys, it's on you. Good little offseason. Number one, bring back Stephon Gilmore. He's a guy I would love for the Cowboys to get back. Restructure Dak. Hopefully they don't have to pay him $60 million, but restructuring him will help us clear the way for guys like Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb moving forward. Aside from that, Bruins, got to figure out how to close games out, Ben. Got to do it. UFC 299, best card. Going to be the best one so far for this year. I know a lot of the diehards don't agree with me. They like that 300 main event. And they like that 300 undercard. They think it's better than 299. I digress. I'll finish with this one. Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics. They will not see a Game 7 until the NBA Finals, and Jason Tatum is a legitimate MVP in the NBA.
Love it, Josh. I love that take. I'm gonna get behind that one. Obviously, I'll help you with that. But no, just obviously great. Another show as always, just great. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Thank you everyone, putting up with us for the little lateness. Hey, it's on us. So we always appreciate it. But as Josh said, we always deliver. We always deliver the goods, and everyone can sort of track sort of those free agent ones. So you got the most right. We'll see if we were accurate at all, but. Keep it short and sweet with some of these ones too. UFC 299, can't wait for it. Jason Tatum, clear-cut MVP, and Bruins clean up that third period.